day, learners! Welcome to another fun and exciting episode of English Talk. I am Teacher Corrine, your companion for a better way to understand today's lesson for English 9. But before we start, here's our most essential learning competency and our learning objectives for today's lesson. After going through this video lesson, you are expected to make judgment based on given scenarios, differentiate bias from prejudice, and determine statements as bias or prejudice. What are you waiting for? Get your pen, paper, and your learner's activity sheet, and let's go! For your first activity, this is entitled Picture Talk. I will be showing you pictures of men and women doing different types of work. Try to look closely at each picture and describe what you have noticed about the men and women in each print. You can pause this video if you need more time. Press play again if you're done with the activity and when you are ready to proceed with the lesson. What do the pictures reveal about men and women? Yes, you are correct. The pictures show that women are busy doing household chores and the men are doing physically demanding and dangerous jobs. Should women be always portrayed as doing the household chores and men doing dangerous jobs? Why? This should not be the way. Both sexes could do different types of jobs. Nowadays, male and female are given equal rights and opportunities. We are no longer classified by gender. Regardless if you are a male or a female, you can freely choose what job suits your skills. Sometimes we judge someone without getting the facts first. And there are also times that people judge us on what they believe. These thoughts and actions are what we call bias and prejudice. You may say that they are both the same, but there is a fine line between them. Let us define the two. First is bias. It is a tendency to lean in a certain direction, either in favor of or against a particular thing. It is a personal opinion that is one-sided, lacking a mutual viewpoint, or not having an open mind, resulting in unfairness. While prejudice refers to a preconceived opinion or feeling towards a person based solely on their affiliation with the group, this results to discrimination because a person's opinion is based on feelings, not facts, which simply means to prejudge others. For better understanding, let's look at some examples. Number 1. Female teachers give more attention to girls. Number 2. He won the contest because one of the judges is his father. Number 3. She got hired because of her looks. Clearly, these examples show bias. A person's decision is based on preference or personal choice and taste. For comparison, let's change the sentences to prejudice. Sentence number 1. Female teachers are less patient with boys. The teacher has a negative evaluation on boys, thus making it prejudice. Sentence number 2. He couldn't enter the contest because he has brown skin. This shows what? Yes, racism. He was discriminated because of his color. Remember, discrimination is prejudice. Sentence number 3. She didn't get the job because she had a visible tattoo in her arms. This situation shows us prejudice. She was discriminated because of her tattoo. Let us now apply what you have learned today. Get ready with your learner's activity sheet and be ready to detect bias and prejudice. Look at the following images carefully and identify whether it shows bias or prejudice. You have 5 seconds to come up with an answer in each item. Are you ready? Picture number 1. Time is up. Is it bias or prejudice? Correct. The image shows prejudice. Due to the spread of COVID-19 that began in Wuhan, China, some people have prejudice towards Chinese. They have the misconception that the virus is caused by the people of China. Picture number 2. Hands up. Does it show bias or prejudice? Very good! This image shows us bias as it reflects the superiority of male workers when it comes to financial development than female workers. Our gender should not limit our development. Both men and women are capable of improving themselves in all aspects of life. We should not be biased with someone because of gender. Let's have picture number 3. Time is up. What's your answer? Correct. This is an example of bias. The caption is offensive for Filipinas. There is a negative connotation in the use of the word Filipina. Did you get the first 3 items correctly? If yes, wow, good job! Let's now have picture number 4. Pens up. What is your answer? You got it right. This is an example of prejudice. The way the people in the image look at the Muslim woman shows that they hate her. The preconceived negative characteristics of Muslim people made other people think that Muslims are bad. We are now on our final picture. Let's see if you'll have a perfect score. What's your answer? You are correct. This shows bias. But why? Right. It is biased because it is favored towards girls. There is no scientific explanation that girls are smarter than boys. Both genders are capable of being smart in whatever field they choose. Well done, students! Let us do another activity to see how good you are in identifying bias and prejudice. You have to read the given situations carefully and identify whether it shows bias or prejudice. Explain why you said so afterwards. Number 1. Oreo is called the criminal on social media even though he is not yet convicted. What's your answer? Yes, it is bias. Why? Correct. Oreo was not yet convicted. Maybe the trial is ongoing. He is a suspect or lawbreaker, but calling him criminal is too offensive. Situation number 2. Are you ready? What's your answer? Yes, correct. This is a form of prejudice. Aji thinks that the females are the ones that should work on the household chores like what he used to see on social media or even at home. Next situation. What's your answer? Very good. Whiskey has prejudice towards kids. Maybe he had a not so good experience with kids at the supermarket. That is why he doesn't like kids. Here's our fourth situation. Please read and answer. What's your answer? Yes, this is another example of prejudice. Because of the social status of Jason, Mr. Santos would not let him marry his daughter. For our final situation, please read. Obviously, this is what? Yes, bias. The decision was based on Anna's subjective opinion in favor of a particular thing. Wow, you did great in differentiating and identifying bias and prejudice. Now for your assessment, are you ready? Let's begin! For part 1, you have to identify if the statements are true or false. Number 1. Prejudice is the opinion or viewpoint while discrimination is the action. True! Nice! 2. If someone is thinking poorly of another person for his belonging to a certain race or for having different religious beliefs, then he has prejudice. What's your answer? Yes, true. Good job. 3. Bias and discrimination are alike. False. Very good. 4. Prejudice is taking action based on a discrimination. Answer? False. That's great. 5. The tendency to favor one person, group, thing, or point of view over another, often in an unfair way, is called bias. Your answer? True! You're awesome! Congratulations, students! You were able to determine bias and prejudice in the given activity. For part 2 of your assessment, do this fishbone activity to check your understanding deeper. In your own words, differentiate biases and prejudices. Now let's see if we have the same answers. Good job! You did great in differentiating bias and prejudice. As human beings, we have the tendency to have bias and prejudice, but it should not get out of hand that it may cause discrimination towards others. Well done, learners! To end our episode today, here are some tweets to ponder. Remember to treat everyone fairly and equally. Be sensitive to others without being biased and prejudiced. Share what you have learned today with your family and friends. Learning is fun when you are motivated to learn. That's it for today. Thank you. See you next time.